Tony Khan of AEW, ownership fame.
My good friend.
Your good friend. He has compared Jon Moxley to Harley Race, saying there's a lot of similarities between the two. During an interview prior to the AEW Wrestle Dream pay-per-view on October 18th, Tony Khan would make the comparison of Jon Moxley to Harley Race, noting that it's really cool that Moxley draws comparisons to Race. Moxley has been a wrestler that Khan has relied on heavily in recent years, etc. Has anybody ever compared Jon Moxley to Harley Race in any way?
Not that I know of. Harley Race, widely regarded as probably, I don't know how tough he was or how tough he is. He's not anymore, or was, but nobody messed with Harley. When people used to talk about Harley from experience, they spoke with respect, and they never badmouthed Harley, because Harley had a reputation. He was a tough son of a gun. Really tough. And the world champion has to be tough, because no matter where he was, if he wasn't tough, they could just beat him up in the ring and knock him out. That's why they pick a tough guy to be the world champion. Because if somebody wants to try him in the ring, well, he can recognize it right off the bat, and he can make amends for it.
How would you describe Jon Moxley as compared to Harley Race then? Because one, I've never seen this comparison made.
Well, I don't know. They say Moxley is a really tough guy, and he could be. But I never heard anything about him being that tough when I was around him. And he was always, I never had any problems with him. He's always a nice guy to me and said hello and all this. So I don't have anything that connects Harley Race and Jon Moxley at all. I never heard of Moxley getting in a fight and just beating the hell out of somebody. But I have heard of Harley Race going into bars and having fights. And I don't know how good the guys were he was fighting, but he'd clean out a bar, or the 3 or 4 guys who's giving him trouble, he just knock them out.
Someone who works in the business messaged me some time ago and said, is Harley Race overrated? Because he was taking a couple of segments from different matches, and some of the spots he would do was almost on a Dick Murdoch level kind of goofiness. Did he have a penchant for just amusing himself sometimes in matches?
Who's that, Harley?
Yeah, he'd do some really funky stuff sometimes.
I never knew Harley. Excuse me. I never knew Harley to do any type of comedy or anything cute or funny, because he was always straight edge. The only thing Harley would do, he was a hell of a drinker. He could go through a half a case easy. But I never saw him drunk. So, but he's told me a few stories about getting pulled over by a cop. And he didn't have any trouble out of the cop, but I forgot how the story went now. It was kind of a boring story anyway that I recall. But the connection between Moxley and Harley, I don't get it. I don't have anything to compare, and I don't have anything, and I knew both of them, but I never knew that Moxley would ever be compared to Harley.
Ace Steel, the trainer of CM Punk, an indie wrestler in his own right as well, posted on Instagram, "Count this as one of the dumbest and most blasphemous things I've ever read. Utter crap. Really infuriating. Zero comparison." So there you go. That's somebody's ire raised there. There have been more comparisons between Jon Moxley and Terry Funk. Where do you stand on that, or just as little comparison between the two?
What about being tough?
Maybe unpredictable, I think.
That may be true. You don't know what he's going to do. And with Terry, I had matches with Terry. You didn't know what he was going to do. He'd say, "Okay, Dutch, then he would say something. Of course, we'd do something else, but he could go in that ring, and I mean, he was a show amongst himself. Even if you were in the ring with him, he would go outside of the ring. He'd take one step, a goofy step, go over the outside railing, take a bump in the people. You hadn't even touched him. And he's actually putting on a show, not for only, for everybody in the arena, but for you too. So it was, you couldn't figure out what he was going to do. And he was crazy as hell. But Moxley, is he that? Does he do crazy stuff like that too, or no?
I think he portrays himself as someone a bit unpredictable, as I said before.
Well, it's kind of working because
and a brawler.
I saw a deal when what is that? They get the long deals and they stick them in their heads.
Those
what is
skewer
that?
things. Yeah, they did that on Wrestle Dream as well. It's something I'm keen on never seeing again. Is what that is.
And he had this. He had a match. I saw the clips. I think that you sent it to me with Darby Allin, where he's like putting something up under his nail.
Yeah, skewer again.
I don't get it. I just don't get that at all.
Well, that leads into the next thing, really. So I sent you a few of the more contentious, I guess, hardcore situations that Darby and Jon Moxley performed in that I Quit match a couple of weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, or 10 days ago, whenever it was, as we record this. And there were three, there was four maybe. There was a hanging spot, which has been done in wrestling for decades and decades. There was a taser, which looked like a real taser. There was the skewers under the fingernails, and there was, of course, the fish tank. What did you make of any of those? Do you think any of those go beyond the pale for your tastes, or is it anything goes, really, for you?
Well, it's just, I guess it fit in the match, I guess. But that to me is not really wrestling. It's really maybe a part of it, I guess, if you want it to be that. But I'm more in favor of doing less. I'm a firm believer in less is more. Do less, and if the guy sells it, it is more. See, they put four things in one match, so what do you concentrate on? Or maybe I'm overreacting to it.
Oh, no, there was way more than that. That's the thing. There was like so many different spots. I mean, people forget that Darby was... Oh, yeah. People forget that Darby was thrown onto the announce table from the ring.
Now, that is something that I don't think he should get up from. I mean, that is who threw him?
It was actually Claudio Castagnoli.
Claudio threw him. Boom. That's a hell of I think the throw was just as good as the taking it, because he had to judge him right. And so when he hit, but that Darby is lucky, because what if something was sticking up at that? I guess they had to know it was coming, but what if something was sticking up? You know, sometimes they have the pins, could be turned wrong. I don't know. Ask me, would I take it?
I don't need to. I know you wouldn't.
Hell no. I'd be hanging on him like a berserk monkey. He's not throwing me out of that ring. But when you do stuff like that, what do you sell? I mean, I'm sure Darby got up and finished the match, so really the throw really meant nothing because he didn't sell it.
It was halfway through.
Well, I don't. If you're going to do something like that, and that's what I find wrong with pro wrestling today. Sometimes it barely resembles what we used to do. I mean, they do things for high spots now that we used to do for finishes. So I don't know.
That you used to do for injury angles where you wanted to write someone off television.
Yeah. So if you wanted to make that, when he threw him from the ring to the table, that's a great injury angle, because that is a thing you can show over and over and over again.